Finn Schellenberg, the Canadian University Sport Player of the Year, and the Winnipeg Wesmen were all that stood between the undefeated McMaster Marauders and their goal of reaching the Final Four. The Marauders skyrocketed up the CIS rankings this season, overtaking the Wesmen at the number 2 spot just prior to the tournament, and they were looking forward to facing a low-seeded opponent in the CIS quarterfinals. But because the Wesmen settled for 4th place at the Canada West Finals a week ago, the Marauders had the defending CIS champions to deal with in the opening round. And deal what they did in the early goings, Jeremy Gronfeldt didn't hesitate to get on the attack. He started landing kills right off the bat as the Marauders exposed some of Winnipeg's defensive holes in the first set. Dustin Addison Schneider would score an ace to tie the game at 18, but look no further than Nathan Gronfeldt to send one back the other way. Another kill by Jeremy gave the Marauders the upper hand. Adam Schultz and Ryan Hudson made their way into the game late in the frame, and they had an immediate impact. Mac took the first set 25-22. Winnipeg would reconvene at the break, and while the staff at Laval did a great job maintaining the floor, Winnipeg would clean up in the second set with an avalanche of attacks. They poured it on with a fury of powerful serving that hit the Marauders like a Western Clipper. Addison Schneider notched 2 more aces as McMaster gets called on the double tap as part of an 8-point run. McMaster simply unable to respond to Winnipeg's sudden ferocity. The Wesmen won the set handily, 25-11, to tie things up at 1 set apiece. As you can imagine, the Marauders were anxious to steal back some momentum in the third set. They made every effort to contain the Wesmen with diving digs and blocks alike, but the attack did not let up. With Addison Schneider setting up play after play, Winnipeg combined for 107 total attacks in the game. Still, the Marauders' comeback rally was relentless, and with their fans behind them, they brought the game within 1 point, 24-23, and back at McMaster, the crowds gathered to cheer on the team. Winnipeg hung on to win the set by a hair, 25-23. With their backs to the wall, the Marauders were forced to play more defense. They turned to Peter Herkel to fire up the offense. He led them with 15 points. But in the end, the Wesmen would roll up their sleeves and finish the job. Andrew Town commanded 13 kills. As the final ball went off the Marauder defense and out of bounds, Winnipeg upsets McMaster 3-1. They move on to the Final Four with a chance to capture their 10th Tantramar trophy, which would tie them for the most CIS men's volleyball titles in history. McMaster suffers their first loss in 27 games against CIS opponents, and they have to settle for the consolation pool. Schellenberg led all players with 21 points, thanks largely to the passing of Addison Schneider, who finished with 46 assists. Jeremy Gronfeldt was the Marauder player of the game. He led McMaster with 13 kills. Reporting for the McMaster Marauders, I'm Jody Kingsbury.